From Abraham Lincoln to Donald Trump, there have been 19 Republican presidents, the most from any party in American history. Popular Republican states include Wyoming, who have voted for a Republican president at every election since 1952, excluding 1964. But what are the features and characteristics of this party, which have won 10 elections since the end of the Second World War? The first feature of the Republican Party is the reluctancy to offer government or state support, or the belief that poverty is solved best by incentivizing Americans to go out and work. This is demonstrated throughout the policy of laissez-faire, French for leave alone, which for the Americans translates as minimizing business regulation and minimizing government interference in the lives of businesses in order to generate maximum profit. This, however, creates an expectation that Americans must work in order to be able to provide for themselves and their families, regardless of an individual's personal circumstances, meaning jobs will be harder to come by for lower skilled workers. The problem of this approach to economics is that some people cannot work long enough hours to sufficiently provide for themselves, meaning that they will become dependent on low-paid, low-skilled, short-hour jobs, which will eventually become less available due to increased competition, which will eventually, in the long term, reduce employment levels across the country. Comparatively, the Conservative Party in the UK, who hold similar values to the Republicans, do support the unemployed or those on low income, for example, through universal credit and the furlough scheme during the COVID-19 pandemic. The second feature of the Republican Party is the skepticism towards international organisations. This is illustrated through Donald Trump's presidency, in which he withdrew from the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, the Iraq nuclear deal, and threatened to withdraw from the World Health Organization in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. This will reduce America's power and dominance on the world stage when it comes to international diplomacy, which can also lead to America becoming a less well-respected nation amongst other governments, and therefore at risk of isolating themselves from their allies. The consequence of this approach to foreign policy can lead to reduced levels of cooperation between the United States and other nations, which in turn can lead to slower international responses to particular events. Comparatively, the Democrats argue that the United States needs to be a leading member of different international organisations. This is evident through Barack Obama's presidency, because by July 2016 he had signed 16 international treaties. The third feature of the Republican Party is that immigration must be regulated and controlled. This includes measures to support enhanced border patrol, which will allow the swift deportation of illegal immigrants. This can be proven all the way back to 1924 through the National Origins Act, more recently the Trump rhetoric of building the wall in 2016, and in 2017 Donald Trump's government banned travel to America from 7 largely Muslim countries. This would imply that the Republican Party have a lack of tolerance for immigrants, and that the party doesn't empathise or sympathise with the challenges immigrants face to reach America, whilst very hardcore and traditional Republican supporters would associate immigrants as being harmful to the American dream, linking all the way back to the Red Scare of the 1920s. The problem that comes with this Republican stance on immigration is that Americans' reputation in the world can be damaged or diminished This can be seen in 2017 through Trump's Muslim ban, which received widespread condemnation. Another problem from this immigration policy is that prejudice and discrimination can be generated towards immigrants through Republican policy.